We are glad to have you join us on the news at 2 on Lagos Television. I am Aminat Elegushi. The federal government said it is seeking a $500 million loan from the World Bank for rural road infrastructure and agricultural marketing. Contained in the final draft of the resettlement policy framework for the Nigeria Rural Access and Agricultural Marketing Project, implemented by the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development. The fund is expected to address the need for better connectivity in the rural Nigeria, where 92 million people currently lack access to good roads. The RAMPSO project aims to improve rural access and climate resilience, strengthen institutional capacity for rural road network management, and fortifying the financial and institutional foundations for sustainable management of both rural and state road networks. These, in turn, the House says, will contribute to better livelihood for the rural populace. The total cost of the RAMSO project is estimated at $600 million, with the World Bank expected to provide 83.33% of the required funding. The Defense Headquarters called on political leaders and Nigerians to work closely with the armed forces of Nigeria and other security agencies in ending the war against enemies of the state. Director Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, stated this during an operational update of the military across its theaters of operations. It said the recent achievement of the military against terrorism, banditry, and other forms of criminalities across the country is not unconnected to the unflinching support of the Nigerian populace. Buba added that the military will unrelentlessly continue to do its bit in safeguarding the nation against internal and external aggressions as enshrined in the constitutional mandate.
To the attack have been released. What we have now are those that actively took part in that attack. And I must say that these people that are in custody are indeed helping in the investigation. They are helping to identify other camps that we earlier did not have information on. They are helping to identify members, sleeper cells, all within the Southeast region. Now, during the week under review, troops neutralized 197 terrorists.
Even as it continues to promote the nation's democracy. In other news, the Court of Appeal has set aside contempt proceedings initiated by the former governor of Kogi State, Yaya Bello, against the chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Olanipekun Olukoyede. In a unanimous judgment read by Justice Joseph Oyewole, it set aside the proceeding while overruling the respondent preliminary objection, citing technicalities. The appeal court held that the trial judge failed to extend the orders of the 9th February in its final judgment of April 17th. It said the second issue raised by the former governor on the interim order had become an academic exercise. The appellate court had earlier granted an ex parte motion for stay of contempt proceedings filed against Olukoyede by ex-governor Yaya Bello. And when the people, especially youths, identify and solve some of the challenges facing the nation, a number of systematic problems will gradually disappear. Lagos State Head of Service Bode Agoro was of this opinion while congratulating fellows of the Lateef Jakande Leadership Academy who have rehabilitated the Isheri Primary Healthcare Center for the good of the people. Adetola Kayode has the details.
Finding a societal need and bridging the gap is a major hallmark of good leadership. For Team Impact of the Lateef Jakande Leadership Academy, their capstone project is to refurbish the Sherry Primary Healthcare Center and launch the Greater Health Project to help meet the medical needs of the people. The upgraded structure now has a solar inverted system and an electronic medical record system. The Team Impact definitely worked in line with the second pillar of the Things Plus agenda, health and environment. This feat has earned them a number of accolades for doing the right thing.
The structural credibility of this rehabilitated building will not only stand the test of time, but added beauty to our community and our resilient mega city, Lagos State.
We have enhanced medical equipment, improved patient flow, and upgraded staff skills by comprehensive training and certifications.
So the plan was we would target a PHC, implement our intervention, demonstrate to the government that over 1 year we can bring down these poor health indices, and hopefully the government will be able to adopt this approach and implement in other primary health care centers.
The head of service, Olabo Diagoro, gave kudos to the fellows for finding a worthy project that will have greater impact on the people, urging youths in the country to play their role in developing the society, as only collective efforts will nurture the nation's growth in different spheres.
We need the youth to join government, to join either local government or state government, or even federal government. We need them in the system so that they hand over. Our own time is coming, we have to hand over to somebody. So we need them in the system so that things like this can be, promoted further.
Besides renovating the health center, the fellows also organized medical outreach campaigns against domestic violence, amongst others, within the Ikosi Sherry communities. Adetola Kayode, OTV News.
Women have been enjoined to make extra efforts in nurturing their children and words, socially, economically, and spiritually. These and other future-enhancing skills were posited at the 2024 Muslim Sisters Seminar put together by the Office of the Lagos State First Lady. Adetola Kayode again has the details.
The Muslim Sisters Seminar is an annual event put together by the Office of the First Lady, Dr. Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, to help women, especially the Muslim women, with skills, realities, and motivation to deal with the current challenges, realities, and opportunities. Wife of the Deputy Governor, Oluremi Hamzat, who represented her at the event, enjoined them to nurture some values and knowledge that will make their children stand out at home and in the outside world, so they can be agents of positive change.
The Quran has provided guidelines for us to ensure that we fulfill our responsibility and dutiful wives and caring mothers in cultivating Islamic principles in our children, so that they can be agents of positive change as well as healthy and balanced world.
Guests and participants at the unique celebration posited that it behoves government to craft and track legislations that will curb the distasteful show of affluence and immorality in the society. They believe engaging in agropreneur and other entrepreneurial skills will help ease the impact of the current economic challenges in the country.
The time you spend with your family, the time you spend with your wife, with your children, with your friends, you will forget that those ones are part of existence, they are part of enjoyment of life. Nothing can replace them. Today, we have replaced family love, family ties with what? With our phones.
There are jobs that cannot be given to people who are not knowledgeable. There are jobs also that should not, for any reason, given to somebody who is not known to you, who cannot sabotage you.
Why is it that all those diseases that we didn't used to have back then, we have them now? Let us think in words. Our lifestyle has changed. We need to look into the things we consume ourselves, the things we give our children. If it is not good for you, it is not good for your child.
The theme for the 2024 Muslim Sisters Seminar is Society on the Brink, Islam to the Rescue. Adetola Kayode, OTV News.
In sports, Nigeria Football Federation has decided to appoint an expatriate technical advisor to oversee the Super Eagles ahead of the upcoming African Cup of Nations qualifiers and the remaining 2026 World Cup qualifying matches. The decision, expected to be finalized in the coming weeks, was contained in a communique issued after the NFF Executive Committee met to deliberate. The Executive Committee says it's wholeheartedly apologized to Nigerians for the dismal output and poor run of the senior men national team and 4 out of 10 matches in the ongoing qualification series for the 2026 World Cup. Super Eagles head coach Finidi George came under criticism after the Eagles suffered a 2-1 loss to Benin Republic on Monday on match day 4 of the CAF 2026 World Cup qualifiers. The defeat leaves the Super Eagles with a disappointing 3 points out of a potential 12, following a string of draws in their opening 3 matches. The former international was appointed new head coach of the Nigerian men national team on April 29, 2024. The NFF assured Nigerians that they will put necessary measures in place to ensure a better prepared squad ahead of the AFCON 2025 qualifier in September and the resumption of the World Cup qualifiers. And on the foreign scene, Cyril Ramaphosa is set for re-election as South Africa's president after the country's second biggest party said it would back the African National Congress leader following a government coalition deal. The ANC, which came to power in 1994 after waging a decades-long battle against apartheid, lost its majority for the first time in last month's election and has spent 2 weeks locked in intensive behind-the-scenes talks with other parties. As a newly elected parliament convened today, Democratic Alliance leader John Steenhuisen said his white-led main opposition party had formally signed a coalition agreement with the ANC, and part of the agreement was Ramaphosa would be president. Lawmakers are due to elect a president later in the day, and the ANC and DA together have a majority of lawmakers that would see the 71-year-old return for a second term. In the May 29 polls and gathered 40% of vote, followed by the DA with 21%. And that's the news at this hour. For more stories, connect with Lagos Television on these social media platforms. Many thanks for staying with us. Please remember to call the Lagos State toll-free lines 767 or 112 in case of emergencies. I am Aminat Elegushi. See you again at 4 p.m.